Well played.
Hello, and welcome back to Rated D for Drink. Today we'll be going over The Conjuring, a classic horror movie.
If you know, you know.
Based in an older setting, but relatively recent. And the drink we're going to pair with that is The White Lady. Once you see The Conjuring, you'll understand. So what we have is a classic horror movie with a quality drink, because again, you want the drink to match the vibe of the movie. This has just a little bit of bitterness, kind of white and ghostly. I think it pairs great with The Conjuring. So Mark, can you tell us about The Conjuring?
Yeah, The Conjuring, I believe it was first filmed in 2013, one of the most successful horror franchises. I believe there's 8
Yep, it
total
launched
films.
the universe.
There's the
Well, they built whole.
it's like a whole
Annabelle wasn't even just
Yep,
she was in
yep.
The Conjuring, but she has her own series
She
now.
has her own series, The Conjuring, the Annabelle movies, La Llorona, and I'm missing one or two, I think.
The Nun.
The Nun.
The Nun.
Yeah. So I think it was 3 Annabelles, 3 Conjurings, The Nun, and La Llorona. So
And we should note that this is based on purportedly real world events.
real world events. This is
Ed and Lorraine Warren are real characters, not characters, real people.
Yep.
They're not characters, they're real people, and they used to be paranormal
Researchers.
One would say probably the most famous paranormal researchers.
As far as I know.
They've been involved
Most
in
of them
cases such as the Amityville Horror, which is also based on true events. Multiple movies from that. The Annabelle doll, I believe, was also based on true events.
And it's
Say
now, who
based-
owns that now? That just recently got bought by
Matt
someone.
Rife.
Matt Rife.
Matt Rife, comedian, owns the Annabelle doll.
And isn't
So his career
Poltergeist, wasn't that kind of based off of one of Ed and Lorraine's cases?
I don't think the Poltergeist.
I thought,
Poltergeist is straight fiction.
Poltergeist.
no, it is straight fiction, but it's like, kind of,
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. I think you're wrong.
I think they have nothing
Yeah,
to do with
could be
one
wrong.
another.
If anybody knows different, put it in the comments.
Yep.
don't be mean.
Some
You could be
quick little facts about The Conjuring. It was the highest original R-rated movie opening weekend as far as take home.
It was packed when we saw it in the theater.
We did.
One
It
of
is-
our, in fact, that was our first movie we saw together.
Yeah, it was.
And I couldn't feel my hand for a week after she squeezed the life out of it.
It is currently sitting number 7 in the history of horror movies for gross. So, very successful franchise. Very successful actors. I'm a big Patrick Wilson fan.
Yep.
I don't think he gets as much credit as he deserves. Very underrated. Vera Farmiga.
Well, let's not forget the dad. He was
Oh yeah, the dad, Office Space. I can't
Office
remember.
Space
Yeah.
and Band of
Friday Night
Brothers.
Lights.
Rob Livingston, I think.
Yeah.
maybe is his
The
name.
guy survived Band of Brothers and
Right.
went on to buy a
So
house
Rob
and got
Livingston?
haunted. The guy can't catch a break.
No, he's yeah. So it's definitely, you know, again, like all of our podcasts. Spoilers ahead. We will be discussing.
Yeah, we'll be
Older
talking
movie
about what's
is-
going on in the movies, but it is older.
Over a decade old, but
If you haven't seen it, spoilers are your fault,
Yes.
not ours.
so this is another movie that is following our 4 movies of Halloween for this year. It is October. We are all fans of horror movies as it is. I think ghost stories in particular, just from personal experiences. So I guess let's get into it.
Well, when did you first see it, James? Did you see it in the theater?
No. I saw it when it came out Blu-ray.
Blu-ray. That scare you?
No.
Well, that's because, but Jennifer's not a big.
Yeah, my spouse is not a horror movie person, even remotely.
So the clapping didn't get you.
No, honestly, the
What got you? What got you in?
For me, the scariest part was the first 5 minutes with the
Oh,
Annabelle
the
doll.
Annabelle doll. And Miss Me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You thought that was the scariest part?
any like with
Dolls
dolls,
freak you out, right?
kids,
Dolls,
it just
clowns, kids.
Well, that goes back into the last episode where you talk about music too, because that's really key for this one.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think all the movies in the Conjuring universe have great scores their movies.
Because they do a good bit with the jump scares,
Yeah,
but a build up to it, so it's not out of the blue.
I would say there was another jump scare in it that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, they do a good job building tension.
And I would say from the musical score perspective, the opening, I mean, I know immediately if I have it playing in the background or if Steve turns it on.
Oh, she's sitting there with her like this.
It's so iconic.
Covering half her eyes.
So iconic, just that musical kind of.
So like we were talking the other day, that gut, like don't trust your gut. Always trust your gut.
Oh yes.
It's millions of years of evolution telling you to get the fuck out of wherever you're at.
Leave the goddamn house.
So yeah.
But this also had a great cast of characters.
No, it was.
Oh yeah.
Which is
all the actors really kind of brought something. There's no one that didn't bring something to that movie.
I would even say that's pretty rare for a horror movie to have
Competent people.
Not that they're all A-lister actors, because I don't think they are. I mean, you could argue Patrick Wilson might be an A-list actor, but Vera Farmiga, I can't remember his name, if that's it or not. The Office Space guy, that's what he will be known as from now.
Yeah.
They're all known actors, but they're not blockbuster type actors. But
they're not Tom Cruise.
They all.
But they brought certain gravitas to the roles they played.
The mother in The Conjuring has also been in another horror movie called The Haunting.
Yep. Which we saw in the
1999, I believe.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
That's definitely a slow burn kind of horror movie.
I'm trying to think. Catherine Zeta-Jones is in it.
Talking about the other movie, she wasn't.
She wasn't in The Conjuring. But anyways, I digress. The cast, they worked well together. You can tell the chemistry was there. Obviously, with Patrick and Vera, they've been in 8 movies together. So I think
I gotta say, one of my favorite characters in that, the sheriff.
The sheriff was good.
The sheriff was a non-believer, but that guy was there every time. He was all in. He was committed, even though he didn't believe.
Yeah. And
Normally the police in those types of horror movies are usually the first.
Yeah, there's no. I don't think this one had any of the tropes or any cliches. It was,
which is refreshing.
Yeah, it was all. I mean, there was a little bit, but it was always kind of fresh and new, and definitely brought, I think, elevated the supernatural that I don't think had been around since Exorcist.
No, and I mean, what was it? James Wan that directed the film.
Yeah.
Phenomenal director. But I think that he really, for the modern era, kind of reshaped modern horror to what it is now.
Yeah,
I actually think that movie was iconic from that perspective for the mid 2000s.
Well, 8, right? 8. So I mean,
totally.
It all started with that and the success.
And I mean, you could even say 9 if you include the Amityville Horror, because that is a Lorraine and Ed and Warren movie or story. Warren, it's one of their stories. It is not part of the Conjuring universe, though. Except I will say this quick little did you know about this movie? Toward the end of the movie, as everything's winding down, and you have the final scene of the protagonists. They are talking. Lorraine is talking to Ed and says, I can't remember the father's name, but the priest had called her to discuss a house in Long Island, which was the Amityville house.
Yeah.
So
nice,
it kind of transitions.
Nice tie in there.
Ties into the Amityville house. And
well, I think a later Conjuring movie, they do an initial seance in the Amityville house, and that's what ties into some of the nun storylines. So, but
I don't think the nun made an appearance in this one. She did.
No.
Just Annabelle.
Just Annabelle. Yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, I think he really reshaped horror for the modern era. Just me personally.
If you're dipping your toe into horror and you are interested in ghosts and or possessions, the Conjuring series. I mean, it's you can't go wrong with the Conjuring series.
No, it's
every single film.
They all stand alone.
They all stand alone. They don't need to be. I mean, it's kind of an anthology, right? It's, I think Annabelle is really the only constant in all of them.
Yep.
So yeah, it's eight movies. They're all well made. They all scared the bejesus out of me. Maybe that is growing up Catholic, so possession movies kind of
Hit home.
They hit
home.
They hit a little too real sometimes.
So here's a question for the audience. Write down in the comments. Can you watch that at home by yourself and go to sleep? I know you can't.
No, I cannot.
It doesn't bother me, but
Watching it, I'm a little tense, but I went to bed, which I think, what would we say, is a sign of psychopathy.
I was going to bring that up. If you can sleep soundly after a horror movie, they say you might be a psychopath. So I worry about myself sometimes.
A little side note too, the location where the alleged event occurred, based off the true story, occurred in Rhode Island. We actually lived in Rhode Island for a very short period of time a few years ago. We had planned on going up there. You used to be able to tour the house and some of the grounds. I think just recently though, they've stopped all that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you look at the house, your real house is a ranch, one floor, very rural type. It doesn't have that gothic feel that the movie has.
Yeah.
And of course, the Annabelle doll is a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yes.
They totally churched that one up to be absolutely terrifying. Again,
Well, they glammed up the characters pretty good in the movie.
They did, but just like you said, it's like with the dolls and everything, it fights better.
I meant to ask when we were watching the movie, the scene with Annabelle towards the end, is she sitting on the witch's lap?
Yes.
Yes.
So she went there from the pendant connection.
She was the pendant connection.
That's what I thought, but I'm like, I didn't know if it was maybe another
just kind of a
supernatural thing from their basement.
So that brings up the do you believe in that kind of stuff? Obviously, if you believe in it, it hits harder. Very religious themes. Didn't you say something about there's no cussing on set?
No, that was me.
That was you. No cussing on set.
Yeah, I read that.
Respect
They didn't allow
subject
cursing due to the spiritual nature of the
that's
movie.
a fucking tragedy.
During screenings in the Philippines after the movie, they had priests coming to bless the theaters. They were so taken aback by it down there. So
I would believe that. That's a very
very religious culture. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely hits harder if you grew up Catholic.
They did have some.
which we all grew up Catholic.
Yes.
They did have some odd occurrences on the set as well. I believe one of them was the director had a dog. He had just gotten a new dog, and while he was writing the screenplay from the book, his dog would just randomly bark at empty spaces in his house, which, we all have dogs, they bark. But not often do they just stare in a corner of a house and just bark in that corner.
So that brings up a good point, kind of what we were talking about. If you have dogs, bring them in the house before you buy them.
Yeah.
If the
You
dog
burn
don't
that
go in the
house
house, bust out the exorcism and the sage and do all you can.
It might be better to bring a cat, though.
This might have
Cats
to-
are usually more...
As Ace Ventura says, animals can sense evil.
Yeah.
So, bring your dog to your house. Doesn't hurt to burn some sage.
But as we're building our house, we made a tragic error by not bringing
We did.
the dogs to the land before we brought it.
Yeah.
We're committed now. But there's so many icons of that movie that are now, once again, cultural zeitgeist in the horror genre.
Oh yeah,
The clap, the nun.
The nun.
Who knew that nuns, other than those of us who grew up getting beat by them in grade school, were terrifying.
They're very terrifying.
They elevated nuns to a whole new level of terror. Not to mention your dolls. You had the clown thing, now the doll thing.
Well, the way growing up with nuns, you would think they were actually leading the church and not the priests.
Or just agents of hell, because some nuns.
I think all of us here had knuckle wraps in grade school from the Sisters of
I got hit over the head a couple times.
And my brother got taken down by a 4'2" nun and just literally put on the ground with a judo move for acting up
They're
in
dangerous.
grades in recess. It was terrible. But that movie was really just, and still is. You can't watch it by yourself at home alone at night.
Absolutely not. No.
It's also one of those few horror movies you can keep watching. Like you're just scared every time you watch it. It's,
Even though you know it's coming.
You know it's coming.
It's
still,
they build up the tension so
I think,
well.
again, going back to the score of the movie, is they do so good at bringing your emotions up to oh god, oh god, oh god, it's gonna happen, and then it doesn't happen. And you're like, oh okay, then it happens. And then you're like, oh
Well,
jeez.
going back to when we discussed the poltergeist, one of your questions were why did they get out of the house? They at least covered that in this one.
They did.
Hey, we're a family of 7. No one's gonna take us in. We can't move out. We've got all the money tied up in this house. He's a trucker. She's a stay-at-home mom.
And it was latched onto them.
Yeah,
it was going to
they covered all the bases why you couldn't just leave.
Yeah.
And even when she did leave,
Well, she was already possessed.
she was possessed, so she went back and tried to kill the daughter. So unlike the poltergeist where they could have just walked out,
They could have just left.
these people were tied to the house. It kind of covered the loose ends.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I don't know that there's any plot holes in that one.
No.
What do you think? Any plot holes in? There's a few in Poltergeist. I can't think of anyone.
Maybe the maid.
That killed the ghost of the
Well,
maid.
they actually they actually brought that up when they were doing the research on the land.
Okay.
In the movie,
She was
Lorraine Warren said, "Hey, this is the whole
Okay, yeah.
property."
When she was laying it out for her
a
husband.
maid
Okay.
committed suicide in this part of the property.
Okay.
I will add the caveat that to all my witch friends out there, it brings a bad light on witches. It makes witches seem like they're part of a satanic cult, and I know a lot of witches personally, and they're really good people. They're nothing to do with Satan, so
I think they're just like any group of people.
they're any group.
There's
some
bad
bad-
eggs.
I think that ties into the ancient Catholic tradition of hunting witches going back to the Inquisition.
Well, I mean,
Salem.
correct me if I'm wrong, but
She's
a
bitch.
non-ordained man doing the exorcism at the end would be heretical too, kind of, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, frowned upon at the very least.
Well, I don't technically. I mean, I grew up Catholic, but I don't think I know
I don't
enough
know
about
the inner, that's why I don't know the
But-
inner workings of.
I would imagine that you would want an ordained priest who's been specially trained because
Because
there's
it
only
is a specialized vocation.
it is
They're
a
the special
specialized-
operations command of
They're
the Catholic priesthood.
basically special forces.
Yeah,
of the
They're the
priesthood.
door kickers.
They're out there. They're the door kickers for God against Satan. Yeah.
They do God's wet work.
Fun fact about Exorcist. The Exorcist will be one of our next movies we review.
Dun, dun, dun.
Our parents had actually gone to college, and one of their professors was a priest that had worked on the original exorcism of what the movie's based off of. So, fun fact, tune in next week, and we will discuss that movie.
Is that next week, the Exorcism?
Yeah, maybe.
Or the Exorcist?
Maybe the next week after that.
It'll be soon.
It'll be
The
this
next
month.
When it comes
It'll
out.
catch.
1 or 2 episodes from now, it will be the Exorcist. You will definitely want to tune in for that one because we will have a special guest for it.
And as we go through these, we're going to do some months will be, obviously November and December will be Christmas. Throw in the comments what you would like to see us pair drinks with and discuss here while we're imbibing on these glorious cocktails.
Old movies,
discussing.
new movies,
Really old
Obscure-
movies.
obscure movies.
obscure movies, horror movies, comedies. We will run the gamut, and we plan on running the gamut of whatever we can. And on that note, we will take an intermission and go to Ranger and Killed Steve showing you how to make
The White
the White
Lady. You have to like gin. If you don't like gin, you're not going to like this drink.
I don't like gin, and it's still not that bad.
There you go. From a non-drinker, gin drinker, you got it endorsed. Okay, so we're done talking about the movie The Conjuring. The drink we were consuming during that was the White Lady. You can find that on the internet. It is not a made-up drink. Well, I take that back. All drinks are made up. You don't find them growing in the fields and pluck them fresh. But this one is an established drink you can find when you search the internet. The only change we made is we did not add cream, which can add that extra white frothiness. One of us is lactose intolerant. I'll let you guess which one in the comments. So it's a gin-based beverage. We'll start with your gin. We're using Hendrick's. Personally, I found this a little bit too spicy. I like it for gin and tonics and gin martinis, but not for this drink. That's all we've got, so we're going with it. I recommend a Botanist or London Dry Gin. Triple sec, you have egg whites. We're using this for convenience sakes, but you can, obviously you want to go through the cracking of egg and separate out the yolk, that's fine. And some lemon juice. You'll need your shaker, a separate shaker with ice, or you can go get your ice after you start, because we dry ingredients first. Your glass, chilled, a fine mesh strainer. For this, we're actually using the measuring cup because I'm not winging the egg white part and the jigger. So you're going to start with mixing all the ingredients without ice. It's 2 ounces of gin. I'm not a professional, they can wing it a little bit better. I can't, so I'm using the measuring. 3/4 ounce of triple sec. Let's see if that winging it works. 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. And 1 egg white, which in this case is, I believe, 2 tablespoons. All right, put that together. You're gonna shake that up. This is a bit messy. Add your ice. Get it nice and cold. Use your fine mesh strainer. Make an addition, we'll add a regular strainer just so that doesn't fill up with ice. All right, look at that milky white, delicious horror. If you ever watched Nun, it'll hit even better. Remember to check under your beds.